Just about 50 years ago, in October of 1952, a local television show went on the air in Philadelphia. On August the 5th, 1957, as I mentioned at the beginning of the program, it had become Dick Clark's American Bandstand, and it made its national debut on the ABC television network. Along with the music stars, one of the attractions of the show was to watch the dancing. And one of the dancers, on and off for several years, was my next guest, Ed Kelly. Ed, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Pleasure to be
here. There
you
are then. Is that you, looking over your shoulder?
That's me. That's inside, right outside the studio.
Am I allowed to say you had more hair then?
Well, yeah, everybody says that. Yes,
everybody
certainly.
says that.
Yeah.
How did you get on the show? Now, did you start on it before it was on ABC, when it was just a local show?
No, I used to watch Bandstand. I had my favorites on the show.
Yeah.
I started the
spring of '59.
Some of the front runners in 1957 when Dick first took it, nationwide, was Bob and Justine, Kenny and Arlene. They were the very two popular couples, and I started the spring of '59, and I was on until 1961. And I became popular with a girl by the name of Kathleen Gibson. Her nickname was Bunny, and we were like the couple of.
And there you are.
There we are. That's outside the studio, 46th Street and Market.
Yeah, in Philadelphia.
In Philly.
Now the show, as I said, it had been a local show for several years. It was done by somebody else before Dick took it over.
Bob Horn was the host.
Yeah. And then after Dick took it over, did it get more popular? Is that what gave ABC the idea of putting it on nationwide?
It actually started in a radio studio, even before Bob Horn was the original host. And kids used to go to the radio station in Philadelphia, and they would dance like outside the radio studio. And someone had the idea, I think they were named Grady and Hurst.
Yeah.
And someone had the idea, let's put this on television. And that's when they developed the TV show. And even when it was aired locally, the kids on the show at that time did receive fan mail also.
Now, when you grew up in Philly?
Yes.
Listening to the Gator with the Heater?
Yeah, the boss with the hot sauce,
yeah,
Jerry Blavitt.
Yeah, Jerry Blavitt.
Yeah,
He's still does. There. Yeah,
he still does his weekend gigs in Margate, I think.
Yeah,
Margate. Yeah,
it's kind of like Cousin Brucey here in New York. You know, they just go on and on and on forever. And thank goodness.
And he was a dancer. You knew that, did you?
Yeah,
Really?
I know that.
He started out.
I know Jerry. Yeah.
Okay, as
a
regular.
He had a little bit of a trouble during one of the payola scandals. And blah blah blah, and that blew away.
Right.
But he's a hell of a DJ. Always was.
Yeah, very
fast talker.
Oh, you can't beat him. No, you can't
now,
beat him.
how did you get on the show? And what did they have auditions, or did you just go on?
No. There was just certain kids from Philadelphia, whatever attracted us to the show. I just don't know what it was. Probably the music and wanting to dance. And we would go there after school. And how you became like a quota regular was someone would write a letter to Dick Clark, ask about, let's say, the girl with the blonde hair with the poodle skirt, or the tall guy with the pompadour, which
whatever it happened to be,
wherever the pompadour went, and then Dick would interview you on the show. And once the public knew who you were, they would start, receiving fan mail, and all the regulars received mail. I think.
Now, at that point, were you invited back, or did you was it still catch?
No, I just went every day, and because I was tall, and not many of the girls were tall at that time, Arlene Sullivan, who was one of the originators and front runners, I would say, in like 1957, had pulled me out of the bleachers, because the first couple times I went to Bandstand, I was like sort of nervous dancing on TV. I just watched. I was too petrified to dance. So she said, "Come on."
Well, my guess is that's why they started to invite back people that got a little attention, a little fan mail, was that they knew you'd get up and dance. I mean, the last thing they needed was a studio full of kids sitting on their hands while Dick Clark is being the MC and then playing or having the stars lip sync. Yeah,
it was probably the traumatic part was like getting a person out of the stands to dance. And once you danced and got to know people, it's like everything else. Everything else was easy after that.
Did it kind of become like a party that you went to every afternoon?
Yeah, we had a good time. Don't forget, we were on the air 5 days a week. That's a lot of TV time to be on. And people would tune in as they would like a soap opera and say, well, why isn't Eddie dancing with Bunny? And ask questions like that.
Did visions of Sugar Plum Fairies dance in your head and make you think, well, gee, I'm gonna be a TV star? I mean, that kind of attention to a young kid never hit you? Any of the others?
I think it's
because you kind of stayed in the business. You stayed in the music business.
Yeah, I worked
and are still in it. Yeah.
No, I was in the music business for about 10 years when I first came to New York, and I'm actually a records manager for a law firm, and I've been in the legal profession for close to 30 years. Still records.
Yeah, still
paper
records.
Though.
Yeah.
How
paper
boring
records.
though.
Yeah, we're right.
Boring.
But were any of the kids starstruck by the attention they got?
I have to admit, even though we weren't professional dancers and we weren't talented, to have fan clubs and to be in all the magazines, and then all of a sudden stop, there was a certain period of adjustment. Yeah.
It can bend your head a little bit.
Did.
We're going to take a little break, and we'll be back with this bent guy in just a moment. There you saw some of the stuff that surrounded these kids who used to go to the studio to dance on American Bandstand in the early years, from the late 50s to the early 60s. One of those kids was Ed Kelly. And did you get thrown out of school because you went there, or you had to be changed?
Yeah, for some reason, in Catholic high school, I was a freshman, and when they found out that I was on Bandstand, they called me into the principal's office and said, you know, if you want to continue to dance on Bandstand, you're not able to attend the high school any longer. And my dad at that time thought, you know, who are they to tell me?
The devil's music,
well,
right?
it was, rock and roll was a bad thing, you know, and dancing on television and just wasn't acceptable. And my dad decided that who are the Catholic Church to tell me what to do.
Your father was a cop?
Policeman.
Yeah.
Yep, cop, yeah, son of a cop. And I attended a business school.
So you could continue to be on
Bandstand. That's right.
Now, there you have 16 magazine, and on the cover are the Bandstand, the kids that danced on Bandstand.
No, actually, that's Brenda Lee and myself on the left.
Yeah.
And that's some of the Annette Funicello.
Yeah.
And the Everly Brothers, Connie Francis.
So you're in with some big
Jimmy
stars
Clayton,
there.
big stars.
Yeah. So the Brenda Lee was booked as the little girl with the big boys.
And she
certainly did. And here's now a viewer started this scrapbook.
That's correct.
And in it are a lot of pictures. They're going to be a little difficult for you to see at home, but some of them are actual shots of the show itself. Dick Clark is in one or two of them. It's very difficult to make them out. But that's what the show looked like. That's when television came in a little box in black and white.
And these two girls started the streak.
Yeah.
Streaking their hair.
The streaking the hair, and there you go with some of the other shots that were taken. Actually, these are pictures of the television screen while the show was, and there's Dick Clark in the lower part of that. And a viewer started this scrapbook for you?
That's correct.
And then your mom continued it,
My mom continued it.
How did you, now in 1961 it's over, how'd you feel? I mean, what happened? Did you just decide to stop, or the show moved on?
No. What happened was I went to the studio one day along with some of the other kids, and because I didn't attend accredited high school, I was no longer able to attend the show. And it ended that abruptly.
So you got boxed. I mean, the accredited high school wouldn't let you go there, and the school that your folks put you in wasn't accredited, so...
That's correct.
So long.
At 18, I would have left the show anyway in August, but this was April of '61. I and a few other kids were told, you know, couldn't come in.
That was the age limit, huh?
18. 18, yeah.
What was the young...
14 to 18, but I know some people that went to the show when they were 12.
Yeah. Now, did any romances develop among the boys and girls who were regulars?
Very few. Very few.
Over the years that you were on it, you said about 3 or 4 years as a regular?
I was on about 2.5 to 3
3
tops,
years, okay. How many regulars were there? I mean, was it an ever-changing group?
Roughly, there were probably about
25 to 30.
When Dick has his specials, his anniversary specials, it's usually the same group: Bob and Justine, Kenny, Arlene, Carol, Franny, Eddie and Bunny, Carmen and Yvette. I think that's the basic 8 or 10 that he usually chooses to have on the show.
Now, is there going to be another one? When is the next anniversary?
Well, they celebrated.
ABC celebrates both, right?
It depends what ABC decides what to celebrate.
We'll have to find out more about when that's going to come up next time. Thank you for coming in, Ed Kelly.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.